If you're a Forest fan, you don't want to miss out at the moment, because Nottingham Forest are third this morning in the Premier League and in the Champions League places. Yeah, you don't need to look twice. This is a fact. It's been a lofty start, but can it be more than just a moment in time? Nuno Espirito Santo's one-year transformation. Did anyone see this coming? Simon and Martin alongside me here in studio. Let's hear from a Nottingham Forest legend, and he is John McGovern. John, good morning. What's left of it? You could not have expected this, Mr. McGovern, could you?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a surprise for everyone. I mean, we know that the club, having established in a sense into the Premier League, wants to get better and make progress, but so far this season we've literally played excellently, and we deserve to be where we are.
What's it down to, John? I know Simon and Martin will come in, but is there anything you can put your finger on as to why they're playing and the way they're playing? Is it all to do with Nuno? What is it?
Well, a lot of it, the credit has to go to the manager. He's the one that obviously talks to the players, preaches his philosophy to them, and then expects them to go out and follow the schooling that he's given them. So you have to say that the manager has got a fantastic response from the players, and also the group of players themselves are an excellent group of players, both in heart and what's between their ears. So you've got a good set of players, you've got a good manager, and everything's going exceptionally well. And just to let all the football fans in the country know, we weren't lucky to win at Liverpool. We deserved that one.
Well said. Marinakis, Simon, as we know, in September, in an open letter to the fans, he says, "Our vision for the club is clear and unwavering. We're on a path to re-establish Nottingham Forest as dominant force in English football. This journey is not just about the short term, it's about building a sustainable future."
Yeah.
He's thought all along that this can happen. He told me at Wembley the day they went up.
He did.
It's all about trophies. Watch us go.
Yeah, I mean, I wrote an article last week in the Mail about Marinakis and the other legend of because I think there's two legends of Nottingham Forest besides people like John McGovern and Trevor Francis that played on the field. There are two other legends. I think Marinakis has to go down to legendary status now because he's catapulted Nottingham Forest in the doldrums of being outside the Premier League for 23 years back into the Premier League. So Marinakis deserves a lot of credit. And of course Brian Clough, and I wrote an article framing it around how these two personalities might have got on, and I think they probably would have got on quite well because Clough was a genius and Marinakis is very plain speaking. I look at Forest as a side. Chris Wood is hitting a vein of form that no one would have legislated for. I mean, this is a very good player, a decent signing for Newcastle when they needed to get out of trouble at the beginning of Eddie Howe's tenure, but not perceived to be a goal scorer in the manner that he's scoring goals for Nottingham Forest. I watched Forest against my Palace a couple of weeks ago. I thought they were a good side. I think they're a good side now. You're seeing players like Callum Hudson-Odoi being more consistent. Gibbs White is a very good player. Defensively, they look like a good side. And in fairness to Nottingham Forest, I tipped Nottingham Forest to go down this season because I thought if you circle around the plug hole enough times, you're going to find yourself going down it.
Yeah.
But anything but that, they're a very good side. They brought players back into the fold like Yates that were potentially ostracised for a period of time under Steve Cooper. This looks like a good side, but this is a long way away from a finished product of a season. But Marinakis has said it, and I thought this was a man that 2 seasons ago people were going, he's a loon, he's buying hundreds of players, he's done this, he's done that, he's ridiculous, he's overriding his manager.
Yeah.
He then ignored the conventional wisdom by giving Cooper a new contract at the time, which I thought was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And then he decided when Cooper had run his course to make another decision. And Espirito Santo coming back from the Middle East wasn't considered to be someone that was high on many people's list. But right now, Nottingham Forest, and John is absolutely right, they deserve to win against Liverpool at Anfield, are in really good nick.
Do you believe him when he says that the club's on a path to re-establish Forest as a dominant force in the game? You were there, John, when they were such a dominant force. Can they possibly emulate that?
Well, obviously the owner has got a club in Greece that's won a European tournament. So he wants to repeat that with Nottingham Forest if he can. He's not in it just, for the fun of it. He seriously wants the club to do exceptionally well. So, he's not going to let a transfer fee stop a quality player coming to Nottingham Forest. And obviously with Nuno, he's given him a free hand, to sign who he can to strengthen the squad. We all know, of course, that the goalkeeping position and the striker's position are the two most important in the game of football. If you've got a consistent goalkeeper and you've got a consistent goal scorer, then you're going to do well.
You've got a chance.
But I think the success this season is because of the team spirit that's between the players. I watch them training every day. I've been doing that since the previous manager, Steve Cooper, joined the club. And Nuno invited me to continue that habit of coming along and watching the players every day. And I just see this gradual, real good understanding between the players and playing for each other and putting hard work in, as all players and all teams have to do.
Sounds good to me.
You've got the work ethic that's absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
You signed some new players that have fitted in brilliantly, but it's not always the goal scorer or the goalkeeper that takes the headlines. In the last match, Nicolas Dominguez, I thought, was one of the best players on the field. A midfield player who probably people will not know too much about, but having been a midfield player, I've probably noticed him a little bit more easily.
Yeah, for sure.
He was outstanding, and other players have been superb, and it's been a genuine team effort. There hasn't been like one or two players have been really, really consistent.
Brilliant, John. Brilliant.
Effort.
Great to hear that a legend like yourself goes to the training sessions. I love that you guys are back there. I've been with you at the City Ground on match day, and it's a joy to behold the reception you get. John, thank you very much indeed. John McGovern with us live this lunch. There's something special going on there, isn't there? You sense it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, ultimately, to compare them to the team of the 70s, which was a phenomenal side, brought out of nowhere, a group of players that people would never have considered to have done what they did, including John McGovern. Yeah. One of the things about Forest that I often heard was a spectre of the past was often very heavy over the football club, with people like John being around quite a lot. I think managers that played for me felt the challenges of having this European Cup backdrop and all the things that were done in the past was quite heavy.
Do you know, it's interesting.
Management.
John McGovern talking about team spirit there. He came from Derby, Cloughie brought him along. He knows a thing or two about that. He's sensing there's a really good feel factor. I like the way they've involved him. Talk about culture, it's about people as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
That underline that culture from the past. So incredible days of the past, Champions League winners twice, 78, McIntyre. Yeah. They're back in town again.
Forest are flying. They are indeed. We're flying towards 12 noon.
White and Jordan on TalkSPORT.